former football fan, have you ever found yourself wondering, what in the world was that ref thinking? Well, Mike D, the referee, is here to help you. Join me on Whistle Talk as I talk to professionals on the field and in the booth to help you understand what is going on inside the mind of a football official. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Another episode of Whistle Talk. Mike D, the referee, joining you here from lovely New Jersey. Once again, being joined by my good buddy down in Georgia, Coach Chip. Coach Chip, how you doing on this fine Sunday morning?
I'm golden, brother.
Love hearing that. Love hearing the golden.
But I'm a little frustrated.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into that really quick. But before we dive into that, I just want to go and pay my bills here. So this episode's being brought to you by refshop.us, your one-stop shop for all of our officiating equipment and uniforms. Whether you're working your first game or you're a seasoned vet getting ready for the season, which I know for some of you has already started, and for me, it's I got scrimmages coming up. But Ref Shop has everything that you'll need, from shirts, pants, whistles, custom Midland radio, headsets for your crew communication, and of course the Reading Study Guide. They are there to help keep our rules knowledge sharp. So visit refshop.us and use promo code TALK26 at checkout for your 10% off on your order. And lastly, if you are enjoying Whistle Talk, do me a favor, do Coach Chip a favor, hit those like buttons, subscribe to our channels. You can find Coach Chip on YouTube and on Facebook and all those other places, and leave us a comment. Okay, your support helps us reach more officials, more coaches, more football fans, and that is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get our good word out to hopefully continue to grow this awesome sport that we love. So, Coach Chip, I know your season has already started, so tell us what you had going on. What was it, Friday night was the first game?
Friday night. Yeah, we show up, and here's my thing. This is my fifth season. It has it coaching in Georgia, and I will say this: it's consistently inconsistent. And what I mean by that, not the flags and stuff like that. Like the guys the other night called a great game. Great game.
Love hearing that.
One thing, they didn't know the rules.
Yeah.
And here's what, as a coach, we don't care what the rule is. We just want to know what the rule is and have it consistently enforced so we can game plan accordingly. Because here's the issue. This is not the last night. Friday night wasn't the first time. This has happened consistently now. All 5 seasons I've coached in Georgia. One night a referee says you can throw a pass off jet, and we're talking handoff. We're not talking the touch pass.
Yep.
Mike, you know that, but our listeners don't. And they say you can, and then we show up Friday night, and they say, no, that forward handoff's a pass, coach. You can't throw a second pass. So boom, that plays out of it. Mm-hmm. And that's in the game plan.
And that's a big part of the game plan.
Do what?
And that's a big part of the game plan.
Oh, yeah. You know, if y'all don't think jet's important to me, I wrote a book about it. Okay, jet matters to me. All right, so, and again, if it is going to be illegal, fine, so be it, whatever. But then we've had them a few years ago, my first or second year in Georgia, we were playing somebody who did the touch pass jet, and the kid threw it. The jetter threw it. And so, you know, we had 3 different versions. You got the ones that do that, the ones that did what we did Friday night, and the ones that actually called it right. And then the other night, the officials debated it during the conference, and I guess the majority ruled or whatever, and they said, no, you can't do it, so it's gone. And then we line up to kick off, and we're a 6-4 kickoff team because we like kicking to, we kick to spots on the field. And they said, you can't do that, it's got to be 5-5. And I'm just like, and it's not a big deal to me to just move a kid over, but now you're talking about a bunch of kids that have never really played much football. We're young. And now what they've been practicing literally since June.
Yep.
I line up here, and this is my lane, and now that's out the window.
Yeah,
All we
and
want
for
is a little consistency.
For the officials that are out there, I'm sorry to cut you off, Coach. The officials that are out there, I want to jump in just to kind of explain your point with it. From coaching for so many years, and I was a special teams coordinator, the kids were given rules by where they were lined up. And now all of a sudden, if you bump that kid over and from just an official standpoint, oh, it's not a big deal. He's moving over 4 or 5 yards. But that 4 or 5 yards now creates a lane that if that kid can't adjust to what he was previously taught from June, and here we are August, getting to September, that opens up a huge lane. And now you got a big special teams play, and now you got the biggest momentum shift in the game of football is on a big special teams play just because you had to bump somebody over 4 or 5 yards. Because we get on the kids when they don't stay in their lanes, when they swerve around somebody and take themselves 4 to 5 yards out of their lane and they can't compensate to get back in. So it's little things like that that do make a difference from the coaching point of view. So Coach Chip called me up Saturday morning, and he had to ask me about those 2 different scenarios, and I was 100% in agreement with Coach Chip that, well, the officials in those 2 scenarios were wrong. The positive is you got it done in the pregame conference, so, I mean, that's instead of getting called for a penalty during the play or during the game, so you kind of were able to make that adjustment, but yeah, when you're adjusting your whole game plan because of a misapplication of rules, it's a problem.
Well, you know, and as an offensive coordinator for years, one of my goals was to cast doubt in the defense's mind about what they'd been taught. Mm-hmm. Well, now the referee cast doubt in our kids' mind. The referee are now participating in the game because they've cast doubt in our kids' minds that we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I'm sitting there going like, damn, my coach told me to do this, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
And if you don't know kids think like that, then you don't know kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got one sitting in the next room right now, so.
Yeah. And that's
all
what
right.
Let's go. Let's get started on Rule 10.
Yeah, so for those that have been listening, we are kind of jumping ahead. We're not skipping Rules 8 and Rules 9. We're just jumping ahead to Rule 10 because with Rule 2, this is probably hand in hand with Rule 2 and our kick game rules, probably the biggest sections that we as officials need to go over. And we're going to talk about the enforcement of penalties today. This is something that me as an umpire, I take this extremely seriously because this is what I'm going to have to do with the enforcement aspect of it. So we're going to talk about the different types of plays, and we're going to talk about the all but one principle. And for those newer officials, you probably have no idea what we're talking about. For the seasoned officials, this is something that the NFHS has kind of put on the back burner or taken out, but we still kind of use it. I'll explain that as we get to it, but we are going to talk about the all but one principle too. So with this, our penalty enforcement, what do we need? What do you need? We got to get the who, what, when, and where. Peeps, fans, officials, do your best to get the number. Do your best to get the number. Work on that at all levels. JV, freshman, varsity, because the coaches want to know who it was on. Don't just say, oh, I don't know, because it doesn't make us look good. If worst case scenario, as an umpire, I'm saying, hey, coach, it was your left tackle, it was your right guard, because sometimes the numbers get moshed. Yeah. So yeah, if the coach knows where it's at least coming from, we can move on. They're happier. But if you say, I don't know, and there are times, coach, that say a face mask penalty, when you just see a hand reaching across and pulling a kid's face mask through a pile, and I had one yesterday in an inter squad scrimmage that I worked. You can't pick up numbers at times, but most of the coaches want to know the who, the what, the when, and the where. So these are things that we have to give not only to the coaches, but more importantly, we got to get it to the white hat, because the white hat now has to process these bits of information, and not only the white hat, but your umpire needs to know all these different things, because now, going to our next bullet point, the foul, the type of play, relevant spots, and against which team. False start, before the snap, dead ball, line of scrimmage, succeeding spot against A. So there's all these different things we got to figure out. And this will get you or the referee everything is needed to enforce the penalties, and it gives the offended team their options of accepting or declining. Give them the options. Now, there are some that you don't really have to do. It's pretty simple. You get a 25-yard pass completed, and there was a hold on the play, you're going to be moving that team back. So it's not something that's really going to be debated in that aspect. But, yeah, give the coaches their options and let them know what they can do. All right, Coach, you want to take our general enforcement notes?
All right. No foul causes loss of the ball. No foul causes a live ball to become dead. However, a foul can cause a dead ball to remain dead. Yeah. When a foul occurs during a dead ball, officials shall not allow the ball to become live. Blow whistle to stop play.
Yep, got to kill those plays.
That'd be like jumping off sides or encroachment.
Correct.
Yeah. Or if you can catch it, too many men on the field.
Yes.
Yeah. The distance.
No, that too many. Oh, well, yeah.
I thought y'all
illegal,
tried.
Yeah, when we get an illegal substitution as opposed to illegal participation, we're going to kill that one. Yes.
Yeah. The distance penalty for any foul can be declined. Any other portion of the penalty can still be accepted, replay of down, etc. Most common on a try. Hang on.
Yeah, sorry, these got kind of blurred together.
A can elect or retry the point. I ought to get double pay for that one. But keep the ball at the B3. Yeah, because you can take it on the kickoff.
Yep, and some teams don't like to move it. If they want to half the distance. They don't want to move it up to a 1.5 because the kickers are creatures of habits, so they want to keep the ball snapped from the same spot so that everything for them mechanically is the same.
Yep. So if penalty is declined or if there is a double foul, there is no loss of yardage. Okay.
All right, so continuing with General Enforcement Notes 10.1. The team's decision to accept or decline penalty must be made before a charged timeout. So we're gonna assess that penalty, and if the team wants to then have a timeout, we got the timeout, and then they can't come out of the timeout and say, "Hey, we changed our mind. We want to decline that penalty."
Coaches need to know that. And let me tell you why. Because we're over there calling for timeout. And I've had referees tell me, say, "Coach, I'll get your timeout. Let me get to this. Your kids can come on over."
Yes.
And that was ignorance on our part. We said, "Well, just give us the friggin' timeout." But I did not know that was, and much as you and I have talked over the years, I did not. Now I understand why the referees go like, "Let us get this sorted out, and then and you watch them, they'll sort it out, then they'll do the signal and point timeout for the team." Yeah.
Yep.
We need to know that. Yeah.
So, and that goes to the next one. A team's choice of penalty options may not be revoked once it's made, which we just said. You can't say, "My bad, we're declining that." So we got to give the options to the coaches, let the coach make the decision, and then mark it off. We don't want to mark it off without the coach making their decision, and then we look bad by unmarking it off. But once the team has made the choice, it's in. Mm-hmm. When a live ball foul by one team is followed by a dead ball foul by the opponent, the penalties are administered separately in the order of occurrence. So this is not a double foul. So if we have a hold on the A and then a dead ball personal foul or unsportsmanlike conduct foul on B, we're going to walk off the penalty for A, and then we're going to backtrack and walk off that 15-yarder for B for that dead ball foul. And when the same team commits a live ball foul followed by one or more dead ball fouls, all fouls may be penalized. Okay, so we can then tack on. This is a big one where you can have a 10-yard and then a 15-yarder, so you in essence have a 25-yard penalty. If you have two holding penalties, we're only going to assess one, but this one is not a multiple foul.
Dude, I just told the story Friday night to a young coach. Back in the late 80s, a bunch of us went to watch a playoff game. We had been knocked out the week before, and the kid we wanted to see was going to end up being the Mr. Football in the state of Alabama. He's really good. He's like 10 miles down the road from us. To give you an idea, Bill Curry was there, Pat Dye was there, Bobby Bowden was there. I mean, that's how good this kid was. Well, they scored a touchdown, and then there was a penalty, like a celebration penalty, so it's moved to the 18. And I don't know what was said, but apparently somebody on the sideline didn't like it. They threw another flag. Then anyway, there were 3 15-yard penalties before the try. And I think now that you couldn't, back then you could not take it on the kickoff. I believe is the way it was. Or the other team just didn't take it on the kickoff. So they line up at the 48-yard line and run a screen, and that kid checks out for the longest 2-point conversion I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
A 48-yard 2-point conversion.
Yeah, that's pretty legit. Yeah. And the penalty enforcement, getting back, cannot take the ball more than half the distance from the enforcement spot to the offending team's goal line. This, again, NFHS rules, because it is different in NCAA, it is different in the NFL with some of the fouls. So understand, in the NFHS, you cannot bring the ball closer than half the distance. And you see that when you're inside the red zone and you get those interference-type penalties. Well, interference in the end zone in the NFL is putting the ball at the 1. Interference in high school in the end zone is taking the ball half the distance. So it's only a 15-yard penalty. So different things like that. All right, Coach, down after the play. This is talking about 5-2, so we're kind of bouncing back and forth with some rules.
All right, when a penalty is declined, next down will be the same as if a foul had not occurred. It will be the same as if a foul had not occurred. It won't be the same down.
No.
It would be just like, hey, there was no foul.
Yep.
When a penalty is accepted, next down will be the same as the down when foul occurred. So you replay the down.
Mm-hmm.
Unless fouls by A, including loss of down, illegal forward handling, illegal forward pass, illegal touching of a forward pass by an ineligible, and intentional grounding is the same, right? That's an
Yes,
illegal
sir.
forward pass. Yeah. Fouls by B, the defense, that give A, the offense, an automatic first down, such as roughing the kicker or holder, roughing the passer, roughing the snapper. Loss of down doesn't apply if those fouls occur after a change of possession or a new series is awarded.
Yep. So one thing that we think of with the automatic first downs is roughing. That's what we're going to say to ourselves, roughing, because, again, different levels, your interference penalties, your defensive holds, okay? We don't got automatic first downs unless it is a roughing penalty, and it's going to be a 15-yard variety. All right, types of fouls from the definitions. This is 216.2. Simultaneous with the snap becomes a foul when the ball is snapped or kicked. This is an illegal substitution, illegal formation, illegal shift, illegal motion, etc. Again, mentioned before, we try to get that illegal substitution before we get that snap off because we don't want it to be an illegal participation. Live ball fouls occur during the down when the ball is live, holding, face mask, blocking the back, etc. Dead ball fouls occur in between downs when the ball is dead. So your encroachment, your false start, your snap infractions, your late hits, your unsportsmanlike conduct, your non-player or unsportsmanlike fouls that occur during the down, that is not illegal participation. So if you get a kid taunting, we're going to treat that as a dead ball foul. Kid high stepping into the end zone or showboating as he's going in the end zone. We're going to rule that one as a dead ball foul. Your late hits and your unsportsmanlike conduct, again, if it's 4th and 20 and you get stopped for no gain and then a kid pile drives into the pile, you're not going to get the first down on that. You're going to get a late hit, 15 yards, but because it happened after the play was over, we're going to assess that penalty off of the change of possession. So it's going to be 15 yards, and it's going to be B's ball in essence. And then we're going to have post-scrimmage kicks, fouls by R, the scrimmage kick, before the kick has ended. What do you got, Coach?
I was going to ask about the simultaneous with snap. That's like, okay, a legal shift. Like, for instance, let me ask you, and some of your other officials can chime in when they comment to you. When a back flinches but doesn't go forward, we had that happen before, like the H, the sniffer. You know, sometimes we like to shift him. Well, we have a kid that flinches, because he thinks he's going in motion, and he realizes, oh, I'm not going in motion, and he goes back, and as soon as he flinches, they blow the whistle, and I say, ref, he's a back, he's allowed to move. He said, yeah, but he can't move right before the snap like that. And I said, the ball never was snapped. You blew the whistle as soon as he flinched. All he was trying to do was shift, and you realize he didn't have to shift, and he just reset. Now, if he had started forward, that's a whole nother kettle of fish, in my opinion.
So
But
the flinch.
it was literally a shift with his right arm like this to go right across the formation, and he goes, oh, crap, I'm not shifting on this one. And then he came back, and they blew the whistle.
No, and they are correct with that one. It's going to be a false start in that one because it's simulating what could have possibly be a snap.
So if he'd have kept moving, it wouldn't have been illegal.
Yeah, probably. But
Because the ball never did get snapped.
Yep.
Okay.
Think about. Do you have running backs just run a swing route out of their 5-6 yard depth from the backfield? So they're drop stepping, opening up, and swinging out. Well, that in essence, with that shift of them kind of shuttering their shoulder, could look like that. So we're gonna stop that one before the play even goes. All right, Coach. 2-41 spots.
Previous spot where ball was last snapped or free kicked. That's the spot. Succeeding spot where ball would be next snapped or free kicked. And I got a question for you on that one. Unless subsequent kickoff enforcement chosen. And then all the numbers, I guess the rules, 8-2.
Yeah, rule.
All right, spot where run ends, where related run ends or runner loses possession.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you throw the beanbag down to mark where he loses possession.
Correct.
Spot of the foul where foul occurred, and post-scrimmage kick spot, PSK, where the kick ends. Here's my question. So it's 1st and 21 from the offense, from the plus 21. We
So
throw
first
a
and goal.
screen.
First and goal from the 21?
No, first and 10 from the plus 21.
Okay.
Okay? We throw a screen, kid breaks it, he gets tackled at the 1, and simultaneous at the time he was getting tackled, they threw a holding flag, which, by the way, the kid was holding.
Okay.
And so I look over at the head coach, and I said, hey, dude, it's going to be 1st and 1. It's going to be 1st and 1. Because it's 10-yard penalty, right?
Correct.
From the spot.
So that's going to be my question. Where did the holding occur?
At the 1.
The holding occurred at the 1?
That's where the flag was.
Okay.
Yep, right there
So-
where the kid was tackled. And it could have been the 2. Either way, it should have been 1st and 2, 1st and 1. Because it's supposed to be from the spot. But they took it and went back from the succeeding spot. I mean, previous spot where the ball was last snapped.
No, that should have gone from the spot of the foul because the foul occurred behind where the end of the run was, and it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 12. Or, okay, I see 1st and 1 from the 12.
See, I pay attention to you.
Yep, if you're going from the 2, yep, 1st and 1 from the 12.
Yeah. But anyway.
All right. So now our dead ball enforcement. Enforced immediately. Ball should not become live until enforced. False start, snap infraction, delay game, encroachment, free kick infraction. That's going to be one for me where I see that pop-up kick, or if I see 7 kicker 3. Not 6 kicker 4, but 7 kicker 3. I'm going to blow that one dead. Non-player or unsportsmanlike fouls can occur during the live ball or dead ball, but we're always enforcing them as dead ball fouls after the play ends. And again, no foul causes a live ball to become dead. So that kid high stepping down the sidelines, we're not killing that play. We're letting him go in and score, and then we're going to assess 15 yards from either the kick or the kickoff.
Is that y'all's personal preference, or is that the standard?
That should be the standard.
Okay.
And dead ball fouls are always enforced from succeeding spot. All right, I'll finish here with the dead ball enforcement, and then we'll move on. So dead balls are always enforced from the succeeding spot of where the ball would next be snapped or free kicked from. Our dead ball fouls are administered separately in order of occurrence. Do not use or create a double or multiple fouls with live ball fouls. And if both teams commit dead ball fouls, equal number of 15-yard penalties will offset, The remaining fouls are enforced separately and in the order that they occurred. So, an example, A11 hits B2 after the whistle. B2 grabs his face mask and pulls. Your penalties are going to offset. So we're going to have 2 dead ball personal fouls. And this does not include your encroachment, your false start, etc. Somebody always went first. So this is one where you have somebody jump off sides and an offensive lineman move what looks to be exactly at the same time. We got to make a determination on who moved, who went first, and that type of scenario. And that one's tough.
Now, 90% of the time, it goes against the offense on that.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
It is a very, very rare occurrence that you will have them offset. The rare occurrence that I've seen was a flanker flanked out all the way on the right side, moves, and a defensive end jumps off sides simultaneously. They're not. Where we're definitely going to have it is if it's interior guys both jumping off sides. Mm-hmm. Somebody actually had to draw somebody off. But when you got a receiver that's 15, 20 yards out wide of a defensive end on the opposite side of the ball, they're probably not looking at each other and have no idea that the other person moves. So that could be one of those ones where it does offset. But again, very rare in that occurrence. All right, Coach, types of play.
Loose ball play is action during free kick, scrimmage kick, or illegal forward pass. A running play is anything not included above in loose ball plays. Related running play, after a loss of possession beyond the neutral zone. Only one loose ball played during a down. There can be multiple running plays. Oh, okay. So even though there's 2 fumbles, only one of them matters? The last one?
Yeah, you can kind of look at it that way. It's a gray area with this one. I'm not a big fan of how this one is worded, especially running plays, anything that's not included. But when you think about your loose ball, your fumbles, that's going to be considered a loose ball. Your legal forward passes, ball is in the air, it's going to be a loose ball. So basically anything like that, we're going to go with that. But then you have a running play when the quarterback has the ball, then you'll have a running play when the receiver catches the ball with a loose ball in between, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I know y'all hate those multiples, like defense scoops it and then they fumble.
It keeps us on our toes.
Yeah, and then the offense gets it back. There's a famous one with the Saints that makes the rounds about once or twice a year on the internet, where it's the Saints and somebody, and there's like 3 or 4 fumbles on one play. And I know the officials got to be going, this is friggin' great.
Yeah, so we are going live right now, and I got somebody jumping on here. The Zim logs says walk off a live ball first, and then the dead ball. It's always hilarious seeing them walk in opposite directions. One team's usually freaking out, and he's right about that. So, yeah. All right, so our running play, 10-3. The end of the run is where the ball becomes dead in the runner's possession. He's tackled, goes out of bounds, etc. Where the runner loses possession if his run is followed by a loose ball, where he fumbles the ball, throws an illegal forward pass, etc., beyond the neutral zone. Again, talking about the beanbag, because we're going to beanbag where the run ended, and now we have the loose ball from there. This loose ball is still part of the running play, and it's related run, so that answers your question before, because the fumble now is still part of the running play. A new running play would begin when the loose ball is recovered. The spot of the catch or recovery when momentum rule is in effect. So this is where different things where we're going to talk about the end of the kick, the end of the run. This is where our beanbags come into play. So we want to mark off these different things, and a lot of times it's not necessarily for the coaches, it's for us in the just-in-case scenario. We're going to mark off on a punt return where the receiver caught the punt, because we know that's the end of the kick. So if we have a flag, that has to be assessed from the end of the kick. We have that marked off, so not the end of the run. All right, loose ball plays and running plays. Coach Chip.
Again, there can only be one loose ball played during the down. There can be multiple running plays, i.e. related runs. Runner loses possession, he or teammate recovers and advances. So I guess that's the second running play.
Yep.
Okay. Any down can consist of only a loose ball play, pass thrown incomplete, or punt not recovered or caught by R. Running plays, runner fumbles, then recovers and advances. Loose ball play followed by running plays, forward pass thrown and caught, loose ball. Here we go again, bunched up. Loose ball. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
punted
lost on
ball
this one.
is caught, then running play begins.
Sorry about that.
No, loose ball or punted ball is caught, then running play begins. Okay, I understand what they're saying about a running play. Even on a punt return or a kickoff return, when it's caught, it becomes a running play.
Yes.
A pass, when it's caught, that becomes a running play for the sake of the rules.
Yep. So prior to that, I want to backtrack to the kick. Think about a kick is a kick is a kick until it's not. Until it's not means, okay, now our running play has begun. So we want to know on a muff, nobody got possession. It's still a kick. So you muff it into the end zone, could be a touchback. Because a kick is a kick is a kick. So our loose ball plays and running plays, technically you won't know the type of play until the down is over. Any run preceding a loose ball play is considered part of that loose ball. Once a loose ball play occurs, everything that happened before it is part of that loose ball play. Yeah, I can see your look on your face right now, Coach Chip. You're trying to put all this together.
I'm going like, okay.
Once a loose ball play occurs, everything that happened before it is part of the loose ball. Running play ends when possession is lost, so our fumbles beyond the neutral zone, we now have the end of the run. However, that loose ball after running play is still part of the same related run. The next related run begins when possession is gained. This is why we conference, Coach. All right, and here I've got a nice little chart here that was by a gentleman here in New Jersey, Bob Masucci. He put together this chart, and we're not going to go over every single thing in the chart, but I've got it posted here. There's 3 different slides, and it's the type of play examples and what it is related to. So the interval, I'll give you the first one. The interval between the snap and the handoff is part of a running play. Okay, so we kind of break it down in that. So you can see there's 4, 9. We got ourselves 13 different slides here, and then a couple more examples at the end. So we got some fun stuff there. I highly recommend everybody goes and takes a look at that chart, though, because it is good material. All right, Coach, some recent changes now. So I'll let you take this one, and this one is important.
10-4. 10-4 is where the changes start to come into play. They completely removed the all but one principle. I remember that. That. 2 ways to learn or understand the new penalty enforcement procedures. 1, use all but one principle while applying new exceptions created in 2023. 2, memorize all enforcement spots based on play type and play end. New table 10-4.
All right, our exceptions to the all but one. If the foul is committed before a change of possession by either team and the spot of the foul or basic spot is behind the previous spot, the penalty is enforced from the previous spot. Okay?
You need to know that stuff because you're about 10, 15 years younger than me, maybe more. But I was a young coach in the 80s, and we forced the team to punt. And while the punt was in the air, we blocked a kid in the back before the change of possession, and they gave it back to them. And we went crazy because we didn't know. And at that time, the federation was not in sync with the NCAA and NFL. They are now, but because the ball had not changed possession yet, it went back to the punting team. And I'm glad they changed that.
Yeah, that's the fun with the post-scrimmage kick stuff.
Right.
It
made it easier on y'all, didn't it? I mean, the old way of doing it, to me, yeah.
All right, Coach, exceptions to the all but one.
The following fouls are always enforced from the spot of the foul: illegal batting or illegal kicking, illegal forward pass or intentional grounding, illegal participation. Hey, let me ask you about the illegal batting. Let's say it's an onside kick and it's right there on the sideline, and the kid takes it, and it's obvious he's not trying to recover it. He just bats that joker like he's playing handball. He just bats it out of bounds. All right, you say it's enforced from the spot, so what does that mean? They're going to mark it off and re-kick it, or mark it off and give it to the return team?
Probably going to give it to the return team, but we're going to mark it off after that because of the bat.
Right. So it's still a good idea to teach our kids to do that, because at that point, all you're wanting is possession of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Nope.
What do you want?
You're up.
Okay. Think fouls against the ball. Spot foul versus fouls against the man. All but one with exception. I'm just reading this, y'all. I don't have a clue what I'm reading. Foul committed by Team A in their own end zone are always a safety. I knew that.
Yes.
Regardless of any basic or enforcement spot. If you hold in the end zone, if you pick off a pass in the end zone and elect to run it out, and before the interceptor gets out of the end zone, his teammate blocks somebody in the back, the offense gets a safety. Yep.
I dream of genie.
Yep, that's one of those things, man, where you just did something great and you get. Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I always told my kids, I said, if you're in the end zone and you run it out on interception, nobody's blocking for you. I told everybody, if we pick it off in the end zone, you don't block.
Yeah. You better have 100 yards clear of grass in front of you.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's giving you 20 yards. 20 in the hand's worth 100 in the bush.
All right, so we got a long chart here for the enforcement spot is the previous spot, 10-4-2. The enforcement spot is the previous spot unless we have our exceptions. The enforcement spot is the previous spot for a foul which occurs simultaneously with the snap or free kick, a foul which occurs during the loose ball play, a foul which occurs during a legal kick, and an inadvertent whistle ends the down. A foul by A or B when the run ends behind the line of scrimmage with no change of possession. A foul by A that occurs behind the line of scrimmage when the run ends beyond the line of scrimmage. A foul by A that occurs beyond the line of scrimmage when the run ends behind the line of scrimmage. And a foul by A or B when the run ends behind the line of scrimmage before a change of possession. So we got a lot to unpack with that one.
Dude, y'all could spend a 3-hour session at your clinics just on Rule 10.
Yeah. That's why I said other than Rule 2 our kick game rules, and 10 are probably the 3 rules we really have to ingrain every off season.
Absolutely. I mean, it ain't just looking for holding and yeah.
So here's what you were talking about now, our PSK fouls by R.
All right, the basic spot is the spot where the kick ends when R commits a post-scrimmage kick foul, or R fouls behind the post-scrimmage kick spot are spot fouls. So if the guy catches the punt and there is a push in the back behind where he caught it, where's the penalty from? Where he caught it from or where the penalty took place?
So you're saying they ran past the returner and then All right. We got enforcement spot from the spot of the foul, 10-4-4. The basic spot is the spot of the foul for illegal batting or kicking when the foul occurs behind the end of the run, illegal participation, illegal forward pass or intentional grounding, foul by team in possession that occurs behind the end of the run after the change of possession. So you got an interception, and now we got a foul. When Team A commits any foul in their end zone, and it's accepted, we're going to have a safety. And a foul by A that occurs beyond the line of scrimmage during a running play when the run ends beyond the line of scrimmage and the foul occurs behind the end of the run. So that goes to what we were just talking about with your scenario of making it 1st and 1 from the 12. All right, Coach, succeeding spot.
The basic spot is the succeeding spot for unsportsmanlike and non-player fouls non-player being on a coach or a kid on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
Dead ball fouls, when the final result is a touchback. Foul by Team B, the defense, when run ends beyond the line of scrimmage. Foul that occurs beyond the end of the run following a change of possession. Or a foul by Team A, the offense, that occurs beyond the line of scrimmage during a running play when the run ends beyond the line of scrimmage and the foul occurs in advance of the end of the run.
Yep. So I want to go up one to the foul that occurs beyond the end of the run following a change of possession. So you have an interception from a defensive back, say 20 yards downfield, and then after the interception, one of the D linemen turns to try to block, and we get called for holding back at the original line of scrimmage. Well, now you had the foul that occurred beyond the end of the run when the change of possession happened. We're going to go from the succeeding spot where that interceptor was tackled, and then we're going to mark that 10 yards off from there.
Okay. It seemed to me if he crossed the spot of the flag, you would mark it off differently. But yeah, y'all are keeping it consistent. That's good.
Yep. All right, so other basic spots. A basic spot is the goal line when the result of the play would otherwise be a safety, and the related run ends in the end zone of the team in possession. The basic spot is the 20 when the result of the play would be a touchback based on the force by an opponent and over the team in possession's goal line, and the related run ends in the end zone. And the succeeding spot will be the subsequent kickoff for fouls on scoring plays, as in Rule 8.2, 8.3, and 8.4, and 8.5. Whew, got them all.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. I'm going to give you this one, the misconception now.
You will hear people say, enforce from where it hurts them the most, which I think that used to be the standard, referring to spot of the foul versus basic spot. This is not true 100% of the time. Logic makes sense, but doesn't cover every situation. Example, A1, the offense. What does that mean? 10?
At it's first and 10.
First and 10 at their own 40.
Yep.
The offensive player throws forward pass to number 81. 81 jumps for the ball and muffs it into the air. Defensive number 27 lowers his shoulder and forcefully contacts the defenseless player. Offensive 81, he hit number 81 while he is airborne at the B, the defense's 40. The pass falls incomplete. What's the basic spot? What's the spot of the foul? What would hurt them the most? Previous spot, A's 40, or the defensive 40. Loose ball, 15 yards from B 40. Oh my God, that's a tough one.
Yep.
That's a big penalty. They're getting all that yardage. They're getting 20, 35 yards for an incomplete pass.
Yep.
I'm reading that right?
For the blow up, yeah.
Ooh, guys, teach your kids not to do that stuff, man. Tell them to make a play.
Make that tackling motion.
Yep.
All right, so our enforcement spots summarized. Simultaneous with the snap goes to the previous spot. A live ball foul during a running play, end of the run. In all cases, but the one where the offense behind the end of the run spot of the foul, except when the foul or end of the run is beyond the previous spot. A live ball foul during a loose ball, previous spot, in all cases now in 2025. Post scrimmage kick, PSK, spot, end of the kick. In all cases, but the one where our fouls behind PSK, which is the spot of the foul, and our dead ball fouls are the succeeding spot. So, again, a lot of stuff to unpack there.
All right, post-scrimmage kick fouls, PSK. Technically a type of live ball foul, but has its own rules and enforcement. Foul by R, the returning team, receiving team, during scrimmage kick plays other than try or successful field goal. 5 requirements to have a PSK foul. 1, kick must cross the expanded neutral zone. 2, Foul must occur beyond the expanded neutral zone. Foul must occur before the end of the kick, before possession is gained. K cannot be next to put the ball in play, the kicker, the kicking team. And then simultaneous with the snap fouls are not PSK, are not post-scrimmage kick plays. Illegal substitution, legal participation, okay. So it's not treated like a PSK because the ball hasn't been snapped yet.
Correct.
Yep.
All right. Double or multiple fouls. A double foul is one or more live ball fouls committed by each team. Penalties are going to offset, meaning they're canceling each other, and we're going to replay the downs. Our multiple fouls are going to be two or more live ball fouls committed by the same team. The offended team is permitted to have their choice of the penalty, and this is going to be which one hurts them more. So if you think that logic, this is where it's going to truly come in. A live ball play, live ball means non-player or unsportsmanlike fouls do not apply to those above. All right, Coach, double fouls. You want to take this one?
All right, both teams commit fouls, and A, there is no change of team possession unless all R fouls are PSK fouls. B, there is a change of possession and team in final possession fouled before the change. C, there is a change of possession and team in final possession accepts the opponent's penalty. Penalties will offset on the double foul situation. Change of possession is where it gets tricky.
All right, our multiple fouls now. And I just had a comment to discuss this, so here we go. One team commits two or more fouls during the same down. Only one penalty can be enforced and accepted. The others will be declined. The offended team has their choice of which penalty to enforce or to decline all penalties. In general, this is the one where we're going to go with which foul will hurt the opponent the most. The offended team still always has the options of which penalty to enforce, and this is where I'm okay with using that phrase of hurt the opponents the most. So you have a hold by A, and well, let's make these on B, on the defense. Coach got out of me. So let's say you got a hold by B, and then you also have a face mask. We're going to go probably from the face mask, which may be at the end of the run, as opposed to the hold on a pass play where they held the receiver but the receiver still made the catch, and then we had a face mask. We're going to penalize them from where the face mask was, as opposed to where the holding was, or the previous spot.
Well, I've noticed it's gotten a lot easier for the coaches because a lot of times the referees pretty much just come over and tell you which one. They're going to say, hey, you want this one. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, we try to do it. We try to simplify it the best that we can. But sometimes we got to go through all the ones and just explain it to them of why they may want that one.
Yeah. No, that I've noticed that we don't have to do a lot of the problem solving these days because they'll let you know, Coach, you need to take this one.
So here's one that we do still talk about, and I don't know if everybody uses the term with this one, the clean hand principle, but we're going to go with it. So, Coach, you want to discuss the clean hands principle, 10-2?
I haven't heard you talk about clean hands and dirty hands in a while. When there is a change of team possession, team in final possession must have gained possession with clean hands, which means they must not have fouled prior to gaining possession. They're filing a suit. Yeah. They must not have fouled prior to gaining possession. That means they have dirty hands. Team B commits defensive pass interference and then intercepts. They did not get the ball with clean hands. They don't get the ball.
Correct.
And the same thing if they committed a penalty, like they got the face mask and then they punched the ball out and recover it. That's not clean hands. If the team in final possession only fouled after the change of possession, like an interception and there's a push in the back, or a fumble and there's whatever, a holding, a fumble recovery. All right, so they gain possession with clean hands and are entitled to retain possession. However, they are still subject to the penalties for fouling. They'll still mark off the post change of possession penalty. Team B intercepts and holds during the return. B keeps the ball, but they're penalized for the holding. Okay. Now, are they penalized from the end of the run on the return, or are they penalized from the spot?
In the last scenario,
Yep.
so say it again. I'm sorry.
Are they penalized from the spot of the foul, or are they penalized from the end of the return?
We're going to go from the spot of the foul on that one.
All right, so this way back there, it'd be a big one, yeah.
Correct. All right, so double fouls and the clean hands principle. So both teams commit fouls, and there is a change of possession. So the team last gaining possession may retain the ball, provided the foul by the team last gaining possession is not before the change of possession, and the team last gaining possession declines the penalty for the opponent's foul. Because if they accept that penalty, we're going to offset. So that's a big one there. So you get the play. So team last in possession makes their choice first. The team not in possession can then accept or decline the foul after that. Both clean hands and decline, both the opponent's foul are required in order to keep possession. So it's a big one, and this one you got to truly explain to the coach, because they may say, oh, well, we want to move them back for a face mask penalty. Well, if you take that face mask penalty, we're having 2 live ball fouls. They're going to offset. So you're going to want to decline that one to keep possession of the ball.
I don't think that's ever happened to me. I've never been presented with that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, and we've had it occur. I mean, it's not common, but it's, again, something where, as a crew, we want to discuss. It's not just the sole responsibility, as Jason just posted up there, not just the sole responsibility of the referee and the umpire. This is one that the crew, okay, well, they got it here. They're going to need to decline that one. So this is why we discuss the things, so that we present it to you, the coaches, with the proper manner. All right, Coach, here's some examples. You want to take that?
All right. Situation A. During a legal forward pass which crosses the neutral zone, A1, the offense, is illegally in motion at the snap. The defense intercepts during his return. Another defensive player clips another offensive player. Foul by Team A and foul by Team B, but there was a change of possession. Team B didn't foul prior to change of possession. They have clean hands. Team B can decline A's illegal motion to retain possession. Team B will keep possession after enforcement of the clipping penalty. Okay? They get penalized, but they get the ball.
Correct. And because if they accepted that illegal motion, we got offsetting.
It just dawned on me, maybe this has never occurred because they just offset them and never gave us a choice.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
I don't know.
All right, double fouls with PSK fouls. Now we really get fun. Double fouls with the change of possession, and all R fouls are PSK. R must decline K's fouls to retain possession, otherwise we have a double foul. R is assumed to have gotten the ball with clean hands because K gave up their right to the ball once it was kicked. Team last in possession has first choice of their options. Okay, so what we were just talking about there with the PSK fun stuff.
Right. Double fouls with change of possession. This is where it gets a little complicated. Think of it like this. All other plays, double foul equals penalties offset. No team will decline a foul, only to have one enforced against them. When there's a change of possession, the options matter. One team potentially can decline penalty order to keep possession, what you just talked about.
Yep.
If both teams accept double foul, replay down. If one team declines, penalty enforcement as normal for other foul. God, I got to remember that. Now that you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby, that may happen.
Hopefully not. Hopefully you have nice, clean games with clean hands from everybody. All right, so I try. Putting it into the world, into the universe. So now we're going to finish off with a couple of special enforcement rules, 10-5. Some fouls and situations have penalty enforcements that are different than everything that we just discussed. all listed in Rule 10-5, which is page 79 on our book and referenced back to where the enforcement rule and the associated penalty enforcements are located. So, 10-5, fouls by K during a kick down prior to the end of the kick. This is 10-4-2 exception. R has the option to select the succeeding spot enforcement on these plays. The rationale is that the kick plays are the most dangerous and the options to not repeat them should be given.
Yeah.
An example is K, 4th and 10 from their 20-yard line. K snaps the ball with 5 players in the backfield in a scrimmage kick formation and punt. The kick is downed at the 50-yard line. Illegal formation, 5 yards, previous spot. Normal enforcement, previous spot, 4th and 15 from K's 15. Special enforcement option, succeeding spot, R 1st and 10 from K's 45-yard line. So we can give them, make them re-kick 5 yards deeper. They may be wanting to go after it and try to block the punt, whatever it may be. Or we can add that to the end of the run. So in this scenario, it was downed at the 50-yard line. So we're going to go 5 yards from there. Good with that one, Coach?
I am.
All right. You got this one?
Any foul by defense when run ends in end zone and would result in safety. Enforcement spot is the goal line. This would only be the case after a change of possession. Again, I've never seen this one. Any foul by offense which is enforced from on or behind its goal line is a safety. Score is nullified if penalty is accepted for a foul by A during a scoring play.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, why
Taking
would you?
points off the board.
Yeah, why? Yeah, I've never had kickers good enough to worry about that, but I would really think that I would never take points. My daddy would roll over in his grave if I took points off the board.
Yeah, I don't like doing those. All right. Other special enforcements, 10-5, are roughing the passer. Roughing the passer is a 15-yard automatic first down. It is enforced from the dead ball spot when beyond the neutral zone, only when no change of possession has occurred during the down. Otherwise, it's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down, enforced from the previous spot. So the example is a completed pass downfield. After roughing the passer foul, they can take the enforcement from where the play ends. So this can be a 30-yard reception. We're now tacking on another 15 from there. So
Right.
That's a big one. Roughing the snapper, kicker, holder, 9-4-5 and 4-6 is 15 yards, automatic first down from the previous spot. This could also fall under the scoring play enforcement. So 15 yards for those scenarios too. All right, Coach. The review.
Free kick. Oh, review. Free kick out of bounds untouched by R. Penalty, free kick infraction. R has 4 options. 5 yards from previous spot and re-kick. I hate that option. 5 yards from succeeding spot, which would be the spot where it went out of bounds.
Correct.
Third option, put ball in play 25 yards from the line where they kicked it.
Correct.
4, decline the penalty and put ball in play at the spot of first touching by K. I don't know why they do that one, but.
Yeah, there's a few scenarios with that.
So what you're going to do, you're going to look at it and say, well, the 25 yards give me better field position, or with the 5 from the succeeding spot give me better field position.
Correct.
Like if it's a attempted onside kick, you're going to take the 5 from the succeeding spot because you'll get the ball probably somewhere around the 50.
Correct.
But if it's kicked way down the field and goes out of bounds on the 10, you don't want +5 from there. You'll say, no, I'll take the 25 from the 40, and I get the ball on the 35. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, kick catching interference. Penalty, kick catching interference. Special team, I guess, 33, special enforcement provision options. Awarded fair catch after a 15-yard penalty from spot of kick catch interference. 2, 15-yard penalty from previous spot and replay of the down. Ooh, I hate those. 3, accept results of play. 4, awarded fair catch at spot of kick catch interference. Yeah. I wouldn't replay that down for love nor money. Give me the ball.
Yep. All right, so I got a couple questions here I want to address. So does the order of fouls matter with double fouls? First foul accepts, declines first. Typically, no. It's not truly going to matter if I'm reading this correctly. With who declines or accepts, I'm assuming there's no change of possession with that one. And then the question about roughing the snapper holder is an attack on like roughing the passer. No, because it's usually on a kick play in that scenario. So we're not going to tack anything on. If they make the field goal, we're going to add that to the end. If they miss the field goal, that's going to be a different scenario. And the foul for B hurdling the A line on a field goal or try. Okay, this one's a good one. It depends on it was the kick made or was the kick not made, because we could tack that on to the succeeding spot on the kickoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason had KCI in a championship game, so that's a fun one, especially when you get to the awarded KCI, the awarded fair catch, I should say. All right, so a review of our special enforcements. 9-9 are unfair acts. The referee can enforce any penalty they feel is equitable, including the award of a score. And I always refer to this one. You saw it last year with the Philadelphia Eagles with the tush push, where the linebacker kept on trying to stop the tush push and was offsides because they were trying to time it up, and they had a number of different offsides. And I know I'm talking NFL as opposed to NFHS. But the official on TV came and said, if it happens again, we can award it as a touchdown. So I think it happened like 4, maybe 5 times in a row. And there's just so many inches you can keep nudging that football forward that they can award the touchdown on that one.
You got the famous where the famous Alabama versus Rice in the Cotton Bowl back in the early 50s, where he ran off the sideline and tackled the guy, and they awarded Rice a touchdown.
Yep.
And then it actually happened in a high school game down in South Alabama. The kid the guy wasn't a kid. He jumped the fence and tackled the guy and then jumped back over the fence.
Yeah, we can definitely give that score if he's in the open and that phantom tackler was the only person around.
Yeah. And they awarded in both cases, they awarded the touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so going on here with our special rules, our special enforcement, a foul by R on a successful try. K can accept the results of the play and take the enforcement on the kickoff or in the extra period, so that would go with the B hurdling at the line for the try, so that falls in there. A foul by R on a successful field goal. Again, K can accept the result of the play and then take the enforcement on the kickoff or the extra period. This goes to, do they want to possibly take points off the board for whatever the foul might be? So they may want to keep the points and then take the penalty on the kick.
Yeah, because, all right, so they kick a field goal as the clock runs out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they rough the kicker or the holder. But so now they can be awarded an untimed down and not go into overtime.
Correct, if they take the points off the board.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, now that's a conundrum.
Yeah.
Because now you got to look at other things like, how, like especially in high school, because it's a whole different scenario. Because I mean, we've actually gone for the win and went for 2 at the end of games,
mm-hmm.
because we didn't like our chances doing it the old school way, 4 downs from the 10. Let's say that's right in that team's wheelhouse. They're a power team, and we haven't given them a 3 and out the whole game.
Yep.
We slowly had to make them turn it over on downs. That happened to us in the second round of the playoffs a long time ago. And I remember I told the head coach, said, "What do you think?" I said, "Go for 2." I said, "We don't want to get into a game and tackle the man with the football with this crew." And because they're but I've never thought about that, because I've never had a kid that never had that happen. I've only won 1 game in my life on a game-ending field goal.
Oh, nice.
Only 1 time. And nobody's
gotta work
ever
on your
beat
special
that.
teams.
Yeah, but now you can say, so it's tied up. Man, that's a conundrum. Oh boy.
All right, and the last one on this slide is fouls during or after a touchdown. A can elect the penalty to be enforced on the try or the subsequent kickoff, which we just talked about, and either team can elect the penalty to be enforced on the try or subsequent kickoff for a dead ball foul. So got some other things. All right.
What happens
Go
on the
ahead.
field? Foul gets called, down ends or doesn't begin. Calling official notifies referee and should give who committed it, what, foul and signal, when, type of foul, and type of play when it occurred, where, relevant spots, basic spot of foul, result of play.
Should all be given to him, and not only to the referee, but to the umpire as well.
Correct.
All right. What happens on the field? The referee is going to signal the foul to the press box, notify both teams. If it's a dead ball foul, skip to enforcement. If it's a live ball foul, this is the preliminary signal. The referee and crew determine the offended team's options based on the acceptance or declination of the foul. And an example is A, 1st and 15 from A's 15, or A, 2nd and 10 from A's 20. All right, so we're going to give those ones the fun ones. Or you got multiple fouls, which to enforce. If team choice will be obvious, skip this and the next step. Okay, A scores a touchdown after a holding, B will accept. So we're not even going to look at that. We're going to just kind of move on. Consult the penalty designees for their choice. Coach, who is that supposed to be that we talk about as irrelevant?
I think the rule still says the captain, but they always call it the head coach.
Always go to the coach with this one. If obvious, skip it. Signal penalty to the press box with the decline signal if applicable and the number of the next down. So you'll see the referee sometimes just give like a little hold going to the sideline, hold here, and then they're going to get the options, and then he's going to come up and he's going to be like, all right, we got a hold, 56 on the offense. After the foul, we got first down or replay first down, whatever it might be. And then the umpire is going to walk off the penalty from the enforcement spot and get ready to start the next play. Mechanics-wise, I know a lot of people have been asking me about going over different mechanics, and it's tough to do mechanics on a show like this because each state has different adaptations to how they're going to do it. But one thing that we're really trying to enforce for us here in New Jersey is having our wing walk off the penalty with the umpire. One person holding the previous spot, another person walking off, so that we're all in lockstep with each other, that we know we have the right spot. Because I've marked off, I'll admit it, I've marked off a 9-yard penalty before for no reason other than I goofed on the math, and it looks bad. And it's a mistake. It shouldn't be made, but it was made, and I didn't have a wing that was double checking me. It could look bad, and so I'm open to the guy saying on the oh, Mike, one more yard. Okay, let's go. Because especially on some of those grass
look bad
fields,
when you reach down and pick that ball up and move it back a yard.
Yeah, not a good look.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, that's Rule 10 in a nutshell. It's
Wow,
a large nut, though.
I was about to say that's a doozy.
That's a walnut.
So that's a lot to digest. You could write a PhD paper on that thing.
All right, Jason saying in Alabama, one wing does hold and the other wing goes with the umpire. So good to know.
Hey, Jason, where are you from in Alabama?
Let's see if he pops back on. Jason and I have talked before, and we got another one here. And from the spot, not got to walk the middle of the field and walk off. It happens, yeah.
I'm just curious. We might be kin. You know how us folks in Alabama are.
Yeah, Jason was on my show previously. Oh, there we go. He got the Troy shirt on. Wow, that's got some life to it, that shirt, huh?
That's one of those that comes that way. What they call that, distressed.
Okay.
Yeah, it came that way, which is perfect for South Alabama because that's the way we come. We come distressed. Yeah.
All right, Coach. So one thing I forgot to do in the beginning of the show, and I apologize. Where can my folks find you?
Football Talk with Coach Chip on Facebook. It's a group. You don't have to be a coach to be in it. On Twitter, Coach Chip at Chip Siegel. Anniston, that's not too far from us. Yeah, Anniston. A good buddy of mine is the head coach at the Donahoe School. One of my best friends.
Ooh.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter X at Coach Chip at Chip Siegel. And then I am, like I said, Facebook and on YouTube, Football Talk with Coach Chip. And then also my podcast that might Mike was just on recently,
Yes,
last week, doing his annual State of the Game, points of emphasis and rule changes. And that's Football Talk with Coach Chip, the podcast, and that's going great guns. Had a great talk. It dropped this morning with Coach Bo Johnson. Yeah, that's what a lot of them say, Jason, whoever that white guy was. That's what because I carry on a conversation the entire time with the officials. And but anyway, and not a bad conversation. But Bo Johnson, what a great talk that was, head coach down in Ocilla, Georgia, way down in South Georgia. He was at Bluntstown High School in the Florida Panhandle when Hurricane Michael came through, and that's a great story to hear him talk about that and how that town overcame that. That wasn't a big storm. It was very compacted, and so all that power went through a very narrow window, and it at a diagonal coming from just east of Panama City, and it tore that part of the Panhandle up, went up into South Georgia, and destroyed a ton of pecan trees. And if y'all know anything about growing trees, you don't recover from that overnight. So,
yeah.
And but that's a great podcast with Coach Bo Johnson. Y'all go over and check that out.
Yeah, that's one I definitely want to listen to. I'm not familiar with Hurricane Michael.
Oh, it destroyed our little beach house.
Yeah, my mother calls me Hurricane Michael at times when I was growing up, but I think that's a little different.
I don't call you Michael. Yeah, Hurricane Michael.
Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody that was able to jump on with us today. Jason says he knows Coach Donahoe very well.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah.
So I appreciate everyone jumping on. I appreciate Coach Chip taking his time out of the morning today on a Sunday morning. Once again, we're going to be coming back with our Rules 8 and Rules 9. We didn't forget about them. We're just kind of skipping over. Next episode, though, is going to be on signals, something, again, we need to all know, and we need to practice knowing our signals, because you don't want to be that commercial. Foul on somebody over there. I don't know what it was, so I'm just going to do different hand signals. And we want to make sure that we're able to look the part, not only just knowing the part, but looking the part too. So once again, thank you to everybody taking the time. Appreciate you all. And for those that are starting the season, good luck. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Coach, appreciate you. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks, Mike.